Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's been an interesting week, Richard.
Yeah. I mean, Oasis are meant to be getting back together.
Big news.
I mean, I work in Manchester, and all the people who know me are very mank. I would just say Oasis are crap. They weren't good the first time round. They're not going to be good the second time round, are they?
You hate Oasis.
I don't like Oasis now.
I've gathered as much.
The drink or the band?
Is it on the same hate you have for tennis, or?
I think with Oasis, no one ever went to McCartney during the 70s and went, "Look, Paul, wings are a bit shit. Make up with John and George and Ringo and just get it back on together." No one did that. They did throw a lot of money at them, but no one ever said your individual career is so worthless that just do the thing that people liked you for in the first place. But they have with the Gallaghers, and I didn't like the thing they did in the first place. So, yeah.
Fair enough. But should we start off with the Dinamo Qarabag game?
Yes.
Which we obviously talked about just the day before our last podcast, and Dinamo, wasn't the greatest performance. We can say they definitely got a bit lucky with the poor finishing from Qarabag.
Yeah, but it's job done. Really,
it's really job done. It could have been 4-0. Sadly, Baturna did Usman Dembele and missed a big chance to make it 4.
But I mean, I think we say we didn't think Qarabag had enough about them previewing the first leg, and I mean we were pretty right. Like you said, Qarabag did have stuff going for them from an attacking sense, just not defensively. And when you're in a position, as Dinamo are going into the second leg, where you've got a convincing lead already, Qarabag have to attack, you can just sit and kill them on transitions.
Yeah. It was really a game of, 3 parts. The first part where Dinamo was mostly dominating. Well, actually, the start, Qarabag kind of took possession, but after 5 minutes, it went back to Dinamo. Marco Piazza then obviously scored the first goal. Beautiful. Doesn't count as an assist for Petković, but good pass, good opening of the space from Baturna too. But and then after that, Dinamo just dropped back, and Qarabag had chance after chance after chance, and didn't score. Thankfully for us.
Yeah, and it is surprising that they didn't score. I mean, you certainly saw enough from them that suggested, well, okay, you can kind of see why they put 7 past Ludogorets and scored, very much in a bunch in that second leg. But Dinamo are a level above that, and defensively and from an attacking sense. And although it was an exciting game, there was a lot of back and forth. That was the second leg won't be.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, you just need to close it out.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think there's any other real ties of the playoffs where you can just sit and say, "Oh, they're already through."
Yeah.
It's an impressive feat for them really to pull this off. Okay, maybe it's not the best thing for the coefficient. At least
they kind of changed. I again saw they changed it that so that you get like 6-5 coefficient points as soon as you enter the Champions League, and then 3 if you enter the Europa League, and then 2 or 1.5.
Yeah,
if you enter the conference. So it's something.
Yeah, I think the difference for Champions League is more pronounced between Champions League and Europa League than it is between Europa League and Conference League, both in terms of coefficient and obviously monetarily as well. They might even be able to redo maths to me. Who knows? Probably not.
It's a story going on for more than 10 years. Please,
yeah.
I think it's time, lads.
Yeah, but there were a couple of I think things we didn't really expect to see in the game in terms of Hotcha starting. And I'm not sure he will the second leg because Cordoba as we get on to, Cordoba looks really good. And a story that's sort of from that particular game, but also coming on into the Gorica game as well. Kulenović is flying at the minute.
Absolutely flying. The man is in unreal form.
Yeah.
I do not know how the man does it, but he just does it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think people were like, oh, maybe it should have been an outside shot of the national team. I don't quite know. But
not yet.
People who score reliably are always good to have around.
True. I mean, also another part of that match was Ristovski getting injured. Then obviously Ogivara came in and RPG Pierre Gabriel went to the right side, and I just like him better.
Yeah, it's his natural position.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I just prefer him over Ristovski when I watch Dinamo because he just offers much more, and Ristovski is obviously now getting to that age where he's slowly, getting worse.
Yeah, but he's not scoring from 30 yards.
Yeah. Well, yeah, putting a top bins.
Yeah.
What else? Mae looks absolutely fantastic as a defender. Really experienced, knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just a big part of Dinamo's defense, I think, this season, and he really looks like a player that you should have. That's at Champions League level, especially.
Yeah, it's what I mean. We've probably banged on it for a few seasons in terms of Defield Catherine. In terms of he is a very good HNL defender, but you step him up, and that is that little step beyond him. For Mae, he's able to take that step. And obviously it's what they were expecting from Bernard. And, that hasn't transpired because he just loves having a mistake in him. But, Bernard is clearly that level. I mean, he had that level in him already. But, it's that level of awareness and game control that's a step above anyone else at the club at the moment.
Yeah, and we're yet to see much of Torrente. We need to see him more to really gauge where he's at. Yeah. But I mean, Dinamo is doing perfectly in every position.
Yeah, that's the problem for any new player coming in, is that everyone's really good.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about Qarabag missing chances. It was mostly Juninho Vieira who missed like 3 sitters, which, I mean, my guy. I mean, thank you. Thank you. Dinamo, I'll probably send him a cake afterwards. Thank you for the misses, and we're probably gonna be going into Champions League because of it.
Yeah. And
Dinamo was also interested in Julio Romao and talked to Qarabag about him during the match, and Qarabag just won a bit way too much.
Yeah, I think they said 5 million.
Yeah, they wanted 5 million. Dinamo doesn't really want to give that much.
So they were after, and I've forgotten his name now, a guy from Čukarički, yeah.
That was it's on the tip of my tongue, but let me find it.
He's decent.
Yeah, he's decent.
Yeah,
one of the more important one of the key players at Čukarički.
Yeah, but I mean, anything where you bring him on from Duka, they are always going to be a little bit of a project at Champions League level.
Yeah, Sambo Sissoko, that's it.
Yeah.
I knew it was Sissoko, I just forgot his first name.
Yeah. I mean, Duka do have a few good players. I mean, they always do have a few good players, season in, season out, of which he's one. Vinny Mello, the striker they've got, he's very, very good. But very also indisciplined.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
can't be perfect.
Exactly. It's a good club to be. It's the sort of club Dinamo should be preying on.
Yeah. I mean, what else to mention about the match? Baturna obviously missing that. Baturna was also exceptional in the match. I almost scored before the first goal from Piazza with that corner tactic, which we saw. I forgot what game was it, but the last season they did the same thing. Baturna scored. I think it was against Gorica.
Mm-hmm.
maybe Istra, one of the two. Just brilliant corner attack. They actually have very good corner attack, like short corner tactics under Yakirovic. I wonder who's the set piece coach for that.
I just hate short corners. We'll find out a lot of things that I don't really like.
I hate them too. I hate them too because Croatia does it and we have no plan. We're just like, okay,
Yeah.
bring Modric, Brozovic, and Kovacic into the corner and just, do something. And nothing happens.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're all too often purposeless. It's you're passing in to try and make a separate angle, but in making a separate angle, you're also giving the defending team time to come out. I mean, really, the ideal sort of corner is what we'll get to when we talk about Osijek Rijeka, in terms of just putting it straight on there and forcing defenders and goalkeeper to make a decision, because if they don't, it's going in. Now, every time you put in a corner, you can't obviously put it in, but short corners tend not to make the most of those opportunities unless you have identified a particular weakness in terms of them aside getting out.
Yeah, and Dinamo tactic has now almost worked 2 times because Baturna hit the bar, didn't score obviously against Qarabag, but it's a niche tactic to have in your hands.
Yeah.
Obviously heading into the second leg, 3-0 is fantastic. You just please don't do a PAOK. Don't lose 5-1.
Yeah, don't do Deportivo versus Milan, that sort of thing. Otherwise, they should be absolutely fine. I think Qarabag have the potential to get a goal or two, but I don't think they have the potential to keep Dinamo out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, somebody else would. I mean, Rijeka hasn't done as well as Dinamo. It wasn't the best performance against Olimpija, which I mean, we spoke about that Olimpija is in hard form so far this season, and they got a 1-1 draw and are, somewhat favorites because they're playing at home now in the second leg.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think for Olimpija, because obviously, I sort of indicated I watch them a lot. It's been a very hard period for them, not just in terms of the amount of games they've had to play, coming in second qualifying round. This is their 6th European game of the season. Policia are a decent side, Sheriff are a decent side, Rijeka are, obviously who we're talking about. But, even the league games around, it was Celje, then Rijeka. Yesterday was against Maribor, and then it's Rijeka again. It's such a testing period. And I think even if Olimpija don't get through, the fact that they've been able to, pull 3 draws out of that period is, progress for them as a club, progress for Vitor Sanchez as a manager. And, really they were unlucky. If there was a side to win it, then Olimpija could have won it. At Rivica, they got the main achievement, which was getting someone out of the cage.
That was exceptional.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they are. I mean, it's hard to say that they're favourites because they shouldn't be favourites, because
they shouldn't be, but
this is Rijeka, that is Olimpija, and also because it's Olimpija, and Olimpija are a very silly club. But defensively they did well. You talk about Rijeka having chances and scoring, but of the shots they took, it was 11 shots, 4 of them were in the box.
Yeah.
So they were relying on these low XG chances, and okay, we saw that against Istra, where everything was going in. It wasn't this time around, and you can't be reliant on that tactic. For Olimpija, I think it's just a good performance. There's not really too much to say about that. There's players people know. Obviously, Floric was in the second tier in Croatia for quite a bit, and Dofo played Bosnia for quite a bit as well. Are all decent players that they've brought on and seem to be gelling really well. But the positions that they were getting chances in were better than the positions Rijeka were getting chances in. And I think there's got to be a confidence that if Olimpija put in the same performance again, at the very least they should be taking this tie to extra time, maybe to penalties, and then we'll see if they're able to win it in normal time. That's huge for Olimpija. Not just for getting into the Conference League, but also just in terms of the stature of the side they're beating. For Rijeka, this is a game that they should have won. This is a game where they should really be going in. You would expect them to be going into the second leg with a lead. They're not. And even though they seem to have the league form sorted out, you're watching them and you think you're inconsistent. You've not quite.
Yeah.
It's not quite working yet for Rijeka.
They've also had the luck. So Marko Pašalić and Franjo Ivanović are on the way out. Ivanović will leave the club. Thankfully, Rijeka have kept him on for the match against Olimpija. So he will be immediately after the match just heading straight to the airport, straight to Belgium, sign the contract, and try to play on the weekend for his new club, Union Saint-Gilloise.
Yeah.
If that's how you pronounce it.
USG.
USG. Marko Pašalić, it's rumored England that's where he's going, but still unknown. So Rijeka will, lose a few players, but if they do get into Conference League, you're obviously gonna get a bit of cash to try and replace him, especially as our window lasts 5 days longer than most of the transfer windows in Europe.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, it's what 4.5 million, I think, is the base for qualifying for the Conference League group. So it's a decent wedge of money plus whatever sales they get, which obviously are going to be again decent amounts of money.
So Ivanović is 4 million with bonuses, so it's probably like free upfront and 1 million in bonuses.
Yeah, and Pašalić is more. I think it's more gonna be what's quoted.
Yeah, maybe 8, I think.
Yeah. So that's a huge. I mean, that's their annual income, basically.
That's their whole transfer budget sorted. What else? Obvious. Okay, so I need to mention this. So Damir Mirković spoke out for Nova TV on Croatian television, and essentially explained his side on why Stopić was sacked 2 days before, a big game. So he said the management decided that we needed to make some changes. Stopić is a wonderful person and a great guy. He did his job honestly, but the management decided on changes, so we went in that direction. 2 days before the second leg against Elfsborg, the man just finished his press conference announcing the match, and because the management decided then and there, we're gonna sack him.
Yeah. Whatever helps you sleep at night, I mean.
Yeah. and I also love that he's now putting it on the management. Before he was putting it on Raj Sudar, and Raj Sudar was like, "No, Mišković said to sack him."
Yeah.
So it's all going up Millhouse at Rijeka, and the fans aren't quite happy with their president, which I think it's fairly obvious why.
Yeah, I mean, he's a funny one because in the sense that Rijeka are a very well-run club, and Mišković generally is a very good owner. He just has these moments where, it's maybe like 1 month every 2 years, he'll just decide,
time to be the villain.
Yep.
Time to be the anti-hero for a bit.
Exactly.
To remind the fans. Let's up the ticket prices, the season ticket prices. Let's just 100%.
Yeah.
And let's sack the manager 2 days before probably our most important game of the season. But yeah.
Why not?
Why not? So I mean, the game, Franjo Ivanović is obviously now in form. The man just is in form when it's August. When September hits, Belgium is just not going to see Franjo Ivanović, I think, for a year.
No. I mean, I don't know what RUSG are in terms of Europe. I mean, obviously they did very well last season in terms of reaching knockout stages. They're in the Champions League this time around.
They won the Belgian league, the Belgian Pro League, I think.
They're in the
they finished
they're in the
second.
Europa
Sorry,
League.
they finished second. Yeah, they
they're
finished
in the
second
Europa
actually.
League.
They finished
Slavia
second.
knocked them out.
Yeah, they finished second, a point behind Club Brugge.
Yeah. So they're guaranteed Europa League. So he is stepping up a European competition. Yeah, it's good money for Rijeka at the end of the day. That's what their business plan is. It's just what they then do in terms of the replacement.
Yeah. What else? I mean, Tony Fruk isn't going anywhere, which is good for Rijeka, which obviously I mentioned before in previous episodes. I'm still surprised that I've seen zero interest, at least heard zero interest for Fruk.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I mean, we have to touted him as up there as one of the players of the season last season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's been as spectacular yet. But I mean,
he got that assist to Rukavina last week against Istra, where he just passed them the ball, and Rukavina obviously did all the job, and then that's an assist, which standard Fruk stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, they need to keep him on for at least till January. In terms of who they're going to be losing.
I mean, they're already losing 2 starters, so you know.
Exactly. So you need him around. But I mean, let's be honest. He's hardly the only one you can say. How have I not heard much about, people wanting to bring this person or that person? Same for Hodge, same for Sly. There's so much that could have been picked from the bones of Rijeka this summer, and they've probably done very well to only be losing 2.
Yeah. Also, one of the things that I noticed, obviously, when I saw the starting lineups come out for the Rijeka Olimpija game, Salahi was on the bench, which he isn't injured. I think we would know. I think Jalović would have said that. He was on the bench again yesterday. So he's been on the bench for the last 4 games.
Yeah, they seem to be preferring Petrovic at the minute, which is fine. Petrovic is a perfectly fine player.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you say, I was doing the job of 2 people last season. And
I mean, he hasn't been poor this season. He's done his job.
Yeah. So it is a bit of weird. It may just be, in terms of what Petrovic brings, they want more structure at the moment, because he's a reliable player.
Yeah, this is all under Jalović, by the way. So since Jalović came in, he's just been on the bench. So it could be that, or maybe just doesn't agree with the Sopic sacking.
I think if it was a didn't agree or something like that, we probably would know about it by now, or we'd probably be actively seeing, I'm looking for a move.
Yeah,
send me somewhere.
Well, maybe I we'll see. We'll see. I mean, okay. So another thing I also wanted to mention before we head into the HNL round, Jose Boto explained the Mieres situation, what exactly happened, and Mieres was a which word can I call him and not get demonetized? A bit of a cunt. So
that wouldn't get you demonetized in Australia.
True.
It would in Nashville in MLS.
Oh yeah, I saw that. They put out a statement, right? Yeah. Curse words bad.
Yeah. Don't listen to Lover Kids.
Anyways, Boto said, so on the way to Talib, Mieres asked me to talk to me and told me that he would stay until the end of his contract. He then also gave a speech in the locker room to his teammates, cried while giving the speech, and basically said, this is my last year in Osijek. I want to win something. Let's give it 100%. And just a few days later, he agreed to a move to Al Jazeera, refused to train, and forced the move out. So,
Money's great.
yeah. Very great. So obviously Jose Boto was like, okay, so he's staying for the entirety of his contract. We'll lose him on a free, but we'll try to get the most out of him this season. And his whole plan has now fallen into the abyss, and now you gotta watch Kemal Ademi literally punch the ball with how poor his first touch is.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got to. I mean, this is the thing. He was brought in. We know sort of how his past couple of seasons has been. There was always going to be time for him that he was required to, just find his sharpness, really. And he's having to do that from starting. And that's, you get the sharpness more quickly, but at the same time, it drains the confidence really quickly because you can't do what you want to do. So it's a crap situation for Osijek at the minute, and they need someone else. They need things to start working, but I mean,
they need a striker. They definitely need a second option, a striker, and there is a not a little guy, a pretty big goal scorer that's currently available on the market, as Zrinski Osijek has terminated his contract. Dominik Dogan last season's in the second tier of Croatia scored 23 goals for Zrinski. Zrinski obviously finished second behind Šibenik. Lost the promotion on the last day of the season, as they were first for almost the entirety of the season, which was unbelievable. But Šibenik stole it under their asses, essentially, on the last day. And Dogan is now available. And I personally, if I was Rijeka, Osijek, and Hajduk, I would be, trying to get him in. All three teams need a striker.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just how transferable the second tier form is.
I mean, Marko Dabrov is a great example.
He was a great example when he was at Lokomotiva. He's not a very good example now.
Not currently, but if you want, it's a great example of making the jump immediately, not after going to China. Was it China that he went to?
It was China, yeah. Mieres has scored in the UAE, we should add.
It was like a bicycle kick.
A bicycle kick. I've just
from like 4 meters out.
But it's still a bicycle kick. It's
still a bicycle kick.
It's still more agile than me.
But Mieres is doing fine and getting his loads of bags and cash. He's just getting paid. Who cares? He certainly doesn't, obviously.
No.
Speaking of Šibenik, as we just mentioned them in the battle with Zrinski last season, they won once again, Richard. They've tied Rudeš's points total from last season already, 4 games in.
And Rudeš haven't won yet. Haven't even got a point yet, have they?
No.
So they're just carrying on where they left off, and Šibenik are just carrying on where they left off.
And Zrinski, who also was in the battle for promotion last season, has also lost both of their starting games in the second tier, which, yikes.
Yeah, I mean, with Šibenik, what we're seeing is they've just got quite an awkward attack to handle. In terms of Bozic has pace to burn and will just play on the shoulder. Majic,
Santini.
Santini. Yeah. And you've got Majic buzzing about and being creative and putting in very good set pieces. And no one, aside from Dinamo, has really found the key to actually combating that yet. I mean, I think Lokomotiva maybe came a little closer than other sides have.
Came a lot close.
Just in terms of particularly how they dominated the game towards the end, but it wasn't enough.
No. And obviously you mentioned the attack, but the wing backs, Žuta and Kolega, obviously connected for the goal, but all for the first 4 games of the season, they've been incredible on both sides.
Yeah, and I mean, it was very good. I mean, it's very bad defensive,
From
set piece in
Lokomotiva.
terms from Lokomotiva,
Yeah.
not necessarily the the goal in terms of Suter coming in at the back post. Yeah, that's a really good strike, but they just fell asleep.
Yeah.
And it's a simple ball in, and it's so easy for him to get in behind and have time to put the cross into the back post. From then, there wasn't much anyone in blue could really do about that. It's an excellent hit. You would be absolutely on the training ground this morning. Well, maybe yesterday morning, even because of the Friday game, just working on set pieces after seeing that, because there's no way it should be that easy.
It shouldn't. And what else? I was gonna mention, obviously. So Lokomotiva was absolutely dominating in the second half. It was just Lokomotiva in the second half. Just couldn't score. Djokovic made a few good saves, but Lokomotiva hit the post, I think, once. It was all just close, but poor finishing in the end.
Yeah, and sort of quite similarly to what we mentioned about Rijeka, it wasn't really stuff from good positions. Just got the chances up in front of me. There wasn't a single shot they took over 0.08 xG, and that
it's a bit a lot.
Yeah, and that was Frankovic's one from I think if I remember rightly,
like around the penalty area.
Yeah, that was the one that clipped.
That was like at the post. Yeah,
he had two men in front of him, and it wasn't a good chance. If they hit the post, it wasn't especially good finish either. But yeah, I think with Lokomotiva, they've work to do. Because we are probably seeing them now as certainly the bottom. I mean, they are literally in the table, the bottom of that sort of Varazinistra and Lokomotiva bubble in the middle that we predicted at the start of the season. Now, what they haven't done and what the weaknesses have been is, isn't really surprising. They don't have that much in the way of goals in them. doing a Chop's form.
They're creating chances. Only problem is Chop is not putting them away. Chop has had loads of chances this season, and he's only scored one from the spot against Hajduk.
Exactly, and that's the Chop that we had for the first half of last season, and the season before that, and the season before that. So, without wanting to say it's a bit of a flash in the pan, they need a striker. That's really.
And that's Dominic Dogan is available.
Well, there you go. Yeah, he was agent. But otherwise, for like I say, they've got things going for them behind there. Mavrazzi is still very decent. Doesn't really look to have dropped off too much.
Qarabag is absolutely fantastic. Just on the level.
So there's lots there to help them. They just need to sort out the scoring goals.
Yeah, Chop, get your fucking shooting boots on, please.
Yeah, well, we'll just wait until they play Dinamo, and then I'm sure we'll probably
or
get another hat trick again. Yeah, exactly.
Again. Another thing that I want to mention about Lokomotiva is Dennis Kollinger has came back to the club. Domagoj Antolić should be announced soon. I don't know what's happened with that. He was the news dropped like last week that he should join even before Kollinger. But yeah, and he should be joining soon.
Probably just having them in the side, you wouldn't have that goal conceded. Just from an organisational and pointing and shouting perspective. They're both experienced and with the personality to get players to be where they need to be.
Yeah. What else? Okay, I should mention also that I don't know if you saw, but Lovric is pretty close to coming back to Gorica.
Yeah. So my understanding is he's training with them, but as I'm training with you, but not officially talking.
I think he's training in Velika Gorica, but alone, from what I've heard, not with the club.
Yeah, which is weird. I mean, just have him as a trialist. See, I'm guessing what will probably happen is we'll see 1st of September, or whenever the rest of the windows around Europe closes. That's when he'll sign for Goritza, after finding out that people from outside don't want him.
Yeah, probably just latching on to some hope that he can get some good cash.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe if he's still got Mieres' number, that's probably the best.
Yeah, call him up.
Outlook for him. Yeah.
Call him up. Okay, so we will not go to Dinamo Gorica yet because we had a match of Varaždin Slaven, which I said was built for Fridays, but it was on a Saturday. It was an okay match. I've seen worse.
Yeah. It was an interestingly refereed match as well.
Yeah.
This was the one with Strukan, wasn't it? And
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm just remembering to literally watch the highlights while on the bike while on the bike in the garage, and so I think there was two main decisions that he got. I don't want to say got wrong, but got weird. One was a foul on the very edge of the box. I think it was Sego who was tackled.
Yeah,
and I don't really know what he gave. But I think the thing when you're watching the highlights, and it's probably true for every league everywhere, is if you see like two or three replays of a particular incident, and then it just carries on afterwards.
Yeah.
You know that whoever the director is at the TV channel is thinking, "Boy, you screwed up, and I want to point it out." And we had two such incidents. That, and then also the not given penalty. Which was I don't remember, Lucevets. And it went on the back of his. So he's running, had his left hand behind him, and ball hit his trailing hand. That is a penalty, and I'm very surprised VAR didn't intervene there, because it's not even. It's close, but it was on his hands, and his hand wasn't in a natural position. I think, however you want to interpret the handball law, that's a penalty.
Yeah, well, Lussos doesn't have to care about that anymore because he's in Denmark.
Yeah, and he was announced as well.
Yeah, he was announced to have joined AC Horsens, to join our Mate Delic in Denmark in the second tier. The fee is rumored to be around like 800,000 to 1 million, somewhere around that range, which would make him like in the top 5 of Varaždin's sales.
And it's a very good fee if you're joining a club with Mate Delac as keeper. Because
if any Chelsea fans are listening to this, that's one of your ex-goalkeepers, in case you didn't know.
If any Goritza fans are listening, that's one of your ex-keepers. And I don't think, did we even see him? I think we saw him, and then maybe for one game, and it's like, now we're putting Banic back in.
He was also at Inter Zaprešić before, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say Watford. I feel like he's one of those Chelsea players that is of the Abramovich Chelsea, where he joined very early, and then they just sent him around on loan for about 6 years, and then released him, as opposed to the Chelsea now, where they're just stockpiling like 40 players.
Goalkeepers. And goalkeepers especially. They have like 7-6 goalkeepers now, which... Why?
All of whom are internationals as well, I think.
Yeah. I don't think those countries are going to be quite a fan of Chelsea.
No.
What else? Speaking of Delic, he was also... I remember that he joined Sarajevo on loan from Chelsea, which I think that's the only loan ever, and probably in the future the only loan from a Premier League club to a Bosnian Premier League club. Is there any other?
I'm going to have to very quickly check this.
Is there any other move?
Varasanovic went. I think if I remember rightly, Varasanovic went straight from Liverpool to Sarajevo.
As a transfer or as a loan?
Transfer.
Yeah, I'm mainly speaking about loans.
He came from Sarajevo. He went Sarajevo to Liverpool. Liverpool back to Sarajevo. and then
It's
obviously to Vijaspor.
obviously didn't like Liverpool, preferred Sarajevo more.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. Come on.
uh, yeah, back to the game. Shego obviously already mentioned a few times, scored a
Mhm.
goal, got an assist even to Lamine Ba, who celebrated his birthday in fantastic fashion as he got a
Yeah,
goal.
I think Sego is getting sort of to the point where I'm still maybe getting a little bit surprised he's still at Parisine.
Yeah,
It feels like if he'd never been let go by Hajduk and reached this level, Hajduk would be playing him.
Hajduk
He was,
definitely need him now.
yeah,
Kalik is not doing great on the left wing, and we need a winger.
yeah. He's certainly good enough to move on from Parisine, and he's done it consistently
Yeah,
over the past season and a half or so. So there's no reason why not. Yeah, maybe there's a Danish second division side listening.
maybe House of Jones, Mate Delic and Lusovitz now.
Yeah, exactly.
You never
Call him
know.
up.
So Mitrovsky was also good. Dabro was okay. Obviously didn't score.
I mean, he absolutely blasted one over.
Yeah,
It was impressive how the height he got on it.
I mean he thought he was playing American football. Let him be.
Yeah, exactly.
Let him be.
Yeah. And I think just on them, we've not seen too much of Nevers yet.
Yeah.
Who I know you're obviously keen on seeing a bit of, but maybe that's something we are able to see over the next few weeks. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think he's injured or something.
Mm.
So, or just still getting into form training with the club.
Yeah.
But I'm now worried about Varaždin's midfield because they really don't have a good Marina came off with a bit of an injury at halftime. So Luka Mamic had to come in. He was fine, but it's obviously not preferable to have, obviously now without Lusavec, I don't know who you're gonna start if Marina's injury is somewhat serious.
But I suppose that's a problem made easier by about 800,000 euros.
Yeah.
And I don't think, there's such a resolute side. They are the ones that I tend to forget about completely. Not in a bad way, but just because they're there.
Yeah.
They don't really give too much in the way of excitement. They have done well in terms of the players they've produced, but they're decidedly a level above. Obviously they're a level above Southern Belupo because they beat them, but they're a level above worrying about anything this season. They're a level below being relevant about anything else this season.
Yeah.
As for Southern, this
Not great.
Not great,
but they've done some business in the transfer window, and Alen Grgic played in the match.
Yes.
And so the Dolchak also came in later on for Muric. So the two returnees to Slaven.
Yeah, I mean, really, what they need is Muric to be in any sort of form.
Yeah, and he's not.
He's not. I mean, Grgic is at his best, he's a very good get. Obviously, his issue was never really the level of football he played. It was he had a horrible injury and has not really recovered to where we thought he'd get to, which is unfortunate. It's just sort of a readjustment of his potential, more than anything. For Dolchak, is a good get. I say, I mean, they need to get Muric playing because he's the one player there who can be a difference maker just without even getting much of a chance. But I think we've sort of mentioned previously, since Dabro joined, he'd been quite disappointing. Muric, since he's joined Slaven, I mean, I don't think
he's had like 2 good games.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a more disappointing signing.
Yeah.
This in 2024.
Yeah, he's had like 2 good games, I think, on the
including
top of my head. Thank you. I somewhat forgot about Perisic for a while, so this is not good. Yeah, okay, let's move on to Dinamo Gorica, where Sandro Kulenović took center stage once again, scoring
Yeah.
a second brace of the week, and just being on fire, really.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it was a heavily rotated side. I think
Yeah.
it's fair to say that's probably, obviously they've got an eye on tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Wednesday.
No, Wednesday,
Yeah. In terms of a second leg against Qarabag, but they still had important bits of the spine in terms of Mimai, Torrente played,
yeah,
but
the whole match.
other than that, really, it was let's just get people a run out and see how they do. And in terms of that, you're looking at players who have taken that opportunity to enhance their standing in Jukurovic's eyes. Kulenović, I don't think necessarily he needed to enhance it any further. He's, like I say, has been great so far this season, but another double doesn't hurt.
Doesn't.
Marco Rock,
Very good.
very good. Is probably not quite there yet in terms of starting in the first choice midfield, but maybe another month or so, then
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
Dinamo is gonna play in Europe, so he's definitely gonna start HNL games at least.
Exactly, and he's ready for that level. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it would be if they wanted to move up a level and say, you need to play a Champions League game. I think maybe that's a bit more questionable from what we've seen so far. And Cordoba,
Yeah, very good.
I like
Almost
Cordoba.
scored. I think Dinamo fans like Cordoba. He almost scored, but got an assist at least.
Yeah, he's rapid, and he's not just rapid; he's direct as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that's really enjoyable to watch about him. Is you just know the ball's going to his feet, he's going to run.
He is. Gorica was okay. I mean, it was a rotated side, so it's not like it was somewhat expected for Gorica to be kind of sortish there because it is a rotated side, but that's still not good enough. Jurica Peršić did score at the end and kind of added some drama, but yeah,
and
not much.
I think if we're fair, Gorica always tend to give Dinamo a game.
A run, but essentially lose, except last season when Ante Mate Juric went into beast mode.
Yeah. I mean, Peršic's goal is very good.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily flashy, so I think when they do like the little top 5 goals compilation, it's probably not that high in that, but the technique in terms of picking it up sort of from almost not quite over your shoulder, but obviously he identified it, pointed, put it in, it's coming in alongside his shoulder and just turning on it and dinking it into the bottom corner. Dani Olmo did that against Man City. He did it flashier because he absolutely smacked it rather than this sort of cheeky little finish that Peršic's did. But, it was very similar style of finish. And
on the same goal too.
Yeah, and the same end as well. So, I mean, Peršic's, obviously, I think we've probably mentioned about Stego, he needs to be taking a step on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
especially with how Gorica is looking currently.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if they do bring Loveridge back, then
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, as it stands, he's better than this team.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be quite interesting maybe if Rijeka would say, we've got these millions going about, let's bring in Bashir. That'd be quite interesting to see how we take that step, in terms of sideways step within the league, but a very different step in terms of the expectation that would be laid upon him. Because at the end of the day, he's 24, so
yeah,
he needs to be making. If he's not going to make a move now, he's going to be playing in the HNL for the rest of his career.
Yeah. Who else is there that I wanted to talk about? Branko Pavic, the youngster from Dinamo, obviously got the start. The 17 years old was okay. Played against Istra for a few minutes before on the opening day. But he's okay. I mean, 17 years old. I mean, what more can you expect? He has the perfect players to work around with it. Ademi, Rog. You have other youngsters, that's Chavenda, Vrbancic, Sucic. You have a very good core. Misic too can,
Yeah, I mean,
has a
again,
very good midfield around him to help him develop.
Dinamo don't need more options, but yeah, they've got them.
They've got him. They're going for it.
Yeah.
They're also
might
going
just
for
do
another
well.
striker. Yeah, they're also going for another striker. They want to bring in another striker at the very least. So we'll see if something happens in that department.
Yeah, I mean, again, they've got two quality strikers, so
yeah,
you do need a third to be able to rotate and give.
Yeah, if there's a
time
suspension or an injury, you need somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know if there's been any names banded about.
No.
I don't think there's anyone obvious because
Dominic
normally this is. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Sorry.
Are you on commission?
I wish.
But yeah, it is normally the sort of signing they'll just pick up from somewhere within the league. So in this instance, I'll allow Dominic Duggan.
Listen, he's available. He's the best option for every HNL club, honestly. If you need a striker, just call up Dominic Duggan. That's it.
Yeah.
Hajduk, please. We need a striker. But yeah, speaking of Hajduk and needy strikers,
yeah, I think
Istra Hajduk.
Yeah. So we've talked. I mean, this is if you've watched / listened to last week or the one before reviewing the first week of games, you'll know. Istra put in decent enough performances against Dinamo and Rijeka, but they didn't have any ruthlessness. They weren't clinical, and as such, they got absolutely battered. So change it and score in the first minute. And really, and I will pick on someone in a bit. Really, they could have won this game and maybe should. I think the same criticisms of Istra applies in terms of, they aren't scoring the chances they should be scoring. And
Laval had two very good chances.
Yeah, he's who I'm going to pick on.
I guess so. That's why I mentioned
them. But they're not scoring them. I think we said it against Rijeka. Rijeka had these loads of low XG chances, but they all flew in. Istra tried to have the same, and they didn't. And they scored their very first one in this game, and it was a silly goal from a Hajduk perspective in terms of it just not being woken up, really.
Yeah, nobody was on the left side even looking at Heister.
Yeah, and just able to ghost in around Hrgović was on that side, wasn't it? And then just it's an easy finish, really. Yeah. But like you say, Laval, and it wasn't just one instance of it. In terms of where he's shooting from is an issue. I see get that it's an instruction. The instruction is pick it up, run, and then once you've got an opportunity, take the opportunity. And to be fair, on a lot of occasions, he's not coming that far away from scoring, but he's also not scoring. And it is, he's doing all the work and then just getting close to the box and sort of getting vertigo. Really, I think Trevor Stanley just needs to take him to one side and just say, "Listen, just take a touch, mate." I think the one that really pointed out was he took one 51st minute. I think it comes to him just outside the box, turns really well, and just takes a snapshot.
Yeah,
but
immediately.
Immediately takes a snapshot, blasts it over. The problem was, if he'd taken a second, he had a pass to, I think it would have
Filet.
been, I think it was Filet. It was Filet or Kalisic making a run forward, I'm not sure who. But there was an opportunity to just lay it off to someone who had a much better chance, very central.
Yeah.
And I'd be replaying that and just, get a pen and paper and just say, right, what do you think you could have done better there? And just getting to sort of self-analyze that performance. Yeah. Because there's more that can be gotten out of him, definitely. He's getting in the right positions, he's getting the right chances. He's not making the most of the time he's getting. And it's a composure and a decisions issue rather than a talent issue, which is teachable, fortunately. But in that respect, you would almost be, if he used to have a little bit of extra budget to play around with, I would say they should probably use it to improve on him right now. Because I think that's the difference between this having been 3 points and 1 point. And it's the difference between, you losing to Rijeka 4-0, Dinamo 5-0, and maybe, getting an early goal and it's 2-1, it's 1-1. You don't know because you've changed the game state. That's what Istra need to improve upon, because the rest of the game plan is working absolutely fine. It seems weird to say that, after you've had 2 games against guys where you've lost 9-0 on aggregate against the top 2. That doesn't suggest the game plan's working, but it is kind of working. Yeah, it is, and that's why they got a point here, and also that Mikic just decided, hey, I'm just going to stop everything.
Yeah, I'm just going to be on form again. Mikic made like 8-9 saves, which just wow. There was a brilliant save from Hrgović to stop Hrgović. Brilliant save. Sahiti had a brilliant game, and Sahiti is on the way out to join Hamburg in Germany. Once again, the talks have reopened, and Sahiti has apparently offered himself to the club. He's like,
get me out of here.
Get me out. Get me out.
I think the thing that was particularly impressive about Mikic, and I know it's not that long ago since we had a whole thing about his weaknesses, was that a lot of these saves that he was pulling off were as double saves. It wasn't very good shot stopping in isolation. And I think particularly if you mentioned that Hrgović shot, that was after he'd already just stopped. One for his left. Yeah, it was coming out, and then he had to absolutely sprint across his goal and jump to poke it over.
Yeah,
it was really excellent goalkeeping. Again, I think sort of the criticisms we've had about Hajduk, as they were against Ružomberok, in regards that they seem to get chances, but they don't necessarily seem to be doing anything that brilliant to be actually getting those chances.
Yeah. So another key point. So Hajduk is a Levaya train currently. If they were a Levaya train before, they're currently a Levaya train more than ever, because Levaya has been involved in every single goal for Hajduk in the HNL, and only hasn't been a part of one in Europe, which is only 2.
Yeah. So, it helped. It was an excellent cross for him to be there.
From Hrgović, yeah. It was the same goal as against Varaždin.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, if we're honest, Hajduk probably should have won it at the death. With
Kalik,
yeah. Again, if we like Dauro blasting it over, Kalik.
This was a touchdown and a half.
Yeah.
Actually, a field goal. Sorry, field goal. I know my American football, guys. Don't judge.
It's a conversion.
Yeah.
We'll go through it with the
He
rugby term.
he absolutely blasted it over. Pukstas did brilliantly, and he had so much space. It's so unreal to me that he
Yeah.
blasted it over that much.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Hajduk's issues are pretty obvious, when you just look at that team.
Yeah.
In terms of what they put out on Sunday, which is an issue is width and not having any, and particularly we're taking Sahiti out of that now.
Yeah.
So who up there is giving you width? Well, so you're playing Kalik as a winger. Well, that's not really his game.
Well, listen, Richard, Yassine Benrao and Leon Diaku are back in the squad. So,
Well, Diaku's central. And
true,
Benrao is pretty central as well, to be
fair.
Yeah,
they are. But Diaku does love to go 1-on-1.
Yeah.
So he can play as a winger. But yeah, it's also another just standard Hajduk stuff. At the start of the preseason, you're like, hey, you two go train on your own, go find a club.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're in deep waters, you're like, guys, can you just join the squad again?
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is you do have a young winger on the bench in Sausage.
Yeah.
Who
I thought you were talking about Durdov.
Well, yeah, him as well. But
I mean, I really hope that Durdov starts playing more and more, because it's really a last season for me currently. I do not see a possibility. I just hope that when Dinamo really pulls away, that we're like, okay, well, time to play the youngsters.
Yeah, it is already. I think
it is because of the injuries. And now Uremović is also going to be missing for the next match against Osijek, because he's picked up third yellow already.
Yeah. And it seems weird when 4 points, 8 games. That's not actually a bad return.
No,
but really,
but when you look at the sides you're playing against, then
yeah, it's still really hard to be positive about Hajduk in general. Yeah. And I think it was obviously very much Hajduk past versus Hajduk present. Obviously in that particular game, and you saw before the game Tramasani hugging and smiling and laughing with Levaya, and Gattuso just like shake hands and walk off. I'm like, okay, there's different vibe there. Yeah. And I have just realised because I will just pull us back for one moment to Dino Goritza. 2 infringements on the back pass rule.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
knew you'd want to mention this. So
yeah, I how did we forget this? I haven't seen that happen in I don't know the last time I saw it. Probably in my local futsal tournament was the last time that I saw it.
It wasn't. It wasn't even debatable.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even debatable. Both of them.
It's not even a green call. It was just I'm literally passing it back to my goalkeeper, and he's just.
I don't know why the first one from Nevestic. I don't know why Nevestic was like, dude, he passed it back to you. Like it's not like he kicked it out. He had no other choice. He's obviously passing it back.
Yeah. I mean, the second one maybe was slightly more debatable in terms of it was running back.
Yeah, slightly more, but
he passed.
He passed. But I mean, I didn't see that in a while, but here we are.
Yeah,
2 times one match.
I think we've got to say everyone does like seeing just 11 players on the line.
On the line, yeah.
Yeah, just like I need to lay it off and try and blast it into the top corner before.
Goritsa's great wall. Goritsa's great Chinese wall stopped Kulenović from getting a hat trick.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else is there to mention about Hajduk Istra? Istra kind of changed their man-to-man marking, which I did say they needed to do against top 4 clubs. They kind of Tramezzani has obviously seen that it's not gonna work out as planned, so just little tweaks here and there, which obviously worked as you got a draw.
Mm-hmm.
And you also need a bit of magic from Mikic,
Yeah.
So, Chavin. somebody who's not having the greatest month.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Osijek in general, I think aren't having the greatest.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but I
which
mean,
is more so to do with Shaolin.
yeah. I mean, I think the problem is when you're a goalkeeper, if you start getting a little bit of blame upon you, then people are looking for things. And I think
Yeah,
in
to
this
put it on
instance,
you.
this is one where people were looking at it to put it on him, because you see the corner coming. It's a fantastic corner, and
Yeah,
then you have defender
Matković. Yeah,
yeah,
Matković just misses it.
yeah. Makovic just misses it, but Chavna is, because Makovic is up, basically unsighted.
Yeah,
So just sticks and
tried his best.
he tried his best. And
I mean, nothing. There's nothing else he could have done. I mean, that's not even a split second.
yeah, exactly. And I think the thing is, he's on one hand, he's unlucky that it just went straight down to the ground, but on
Yeah,
the other hand, still, you're a goalkeeper. You should be pushing it literally anywhere else than where you put it.
yeah. But then again, it's a split. It's not even a split second decision.
Yeah.
It's even shorter. So it's literally not even this. Not even this. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's harsh. I mean, again, I think when you're a goalkeeper and you've made a couple of mistakes, people are looking.
Yeah,
for
especially
mistakes.
after Šibenik and Levadia and what else? Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is the worst we've seen Osijek so far this season,
and they were still good.
They were still fine.
Not bad. Not obviously got ran by Rijeka, but they were still created some chances.
Yeah, Bufish again, very decent. Don't know how long they can hold on to him, because I think he's looks ready already to move up. But they are a work in progress. This is the whole.
Yeah,
we knew they would be from Boto. So always been saying, and this is the growing pains, as it were. They don't have. They do have a recognised striker. They don't have one who's sharp. Or scoring, and as such, they're relying too much on the midfield coming through. You have to kind of be reliant on Matkovic, doing more than you would expect of him, at his age. So it's difficult. I think I don't know whether they're still going to go into the market. I think they are. I think they said they've got a couple of deals that they're planning on. And they need it. I don't think think, as you indicated, they certainly weren't bargaining for life without Mieres yet.
Yeah.
And you've just cleared Lovric's wages off the balance sheet, so you're obviously looking for that, and also Niasmic as well, likely going. I think very, very likely going to Legia.
Yep.
Or something like that. So there's someone you need to replace. Priscilla.
Yeah, definitely.
There we go.
Sure. Yeah. Could be, but I mean, they're not bad. They just need a good day. They just need a good result. That's all they need.
Yeah,
just to turn themselves around.
Yeah, in that respect, okay, you look at having an opening 4 games of Šibenik, Dinamo, Gorica, and Rijeka. You would think we're taking 6 points from that max, and I mean, they've not taken 2.
They've got a 1.
So they've got 1 even. So it's gone negatively, but they've been in all of those games. They've been good.
Yeah.
In all of those games, like I say, when we're saying that this was their worst performance of the season, that doesn't mean it was a bad performance, but they should have beaten Šibenik. Absolutely should have beaten Šibenik easily, based on the XG. Same with Gorica. Just want to throw it away. Same with Gira in terms of the times that they were conceding silly goals. if
Not to mention the penalties.
if they'd gotten what the 89 minutes of their normal play deserves, we'd probably be talking about them on 7 points and being absolutely fine.
It's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite from last season. Last season they were just scoring for fun in the opening 4 or 5 games. Now it's the complete opposite.
And it's the complete opposite from Hajduk as well. In terms of Hajduk are playing badly and getting results. Osijek are playing well and in a way we kind of want to see, and they're just getting nothing. And what they need is a run of 2 games in a row against Slaven and Lokomotiva. That's really what they need right now.
Yeah, we'll also see how they play against Hajduk. Can Hajduk continue there, not losing while still not being at their best? Or can Osijek finally get a result?
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, I think I want to see this Osijek project succeed because they, have the right personnel in the club. In running it, they just haven't got any luck yet.
I've also seen some Osijek fans going at Boto, and I'm like, this is a pretty good squad, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as he knows where his car is at all times, I probably wouldn't be too worried about that. I think probably the big selection headache they have is, at what point do we just say, Javna, we're going to take you out and just get
Malen saying,
get your confidence back for a game, have a couple of weeks off. I mean, I think maybe if he has, I will play against Hajduk in the next game, no doubt. But
I mean, Malensa last season before the injury was amazing for us.
Yeah, so they have good options. I think the thing is, what you don't want to do is do it in a way where you pull Chapman out the side and you're just absolutely wrecking his confidence.
Yeah,
and that's all it serves to do. And that it's a very, this is why we sit and talk about football and don't get paid for it, and why Copatelli gets paid money to do it, because I'm sure he's better at having that conversation than we are. But this is, for him, this is where he's got to earn his money.
Yeah. So before we head into the next round to shortly preview it, today FPL Croatian on Twitter released the XG table, which SofaScore has been pretty bad, but the XG hasn't really released it for all matches. So I was not able to create any kind of tables, but he's obviously has Wisecout or something else. So he has the XG, which he's compiled. So you can obviously see the XG and the XG conceded on the right. Lokomotiva has created the most XG out of anybody. So Duječop, what are you doing?
Yep.
Then it goes Rijeka, Osijek, obviously not that bad. Dinamo, Hajduk, Istra, Šibenik, Varaždin, Gorica, and Slaven last with only 3.55.
Which, I mean, that's certainly who you expect at the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that XG, it can see against for Gorica, and that's scary.
Yeah, very scary.
Just trying to look. So another, again, I don't know if this is someone you follow, Ben Griffiths on X,
on Twitter.
His post-match reports and the visuals for that have a lot of that data in. So if you're watching slash listening, and you wanting to get more into that side of things, that's where I would start in terms of using the Opta data there. Because it's also going through and just looking at Gorica in terms of sort of where their things are. The result they got against Varaždin, that was actually their worst XG created of the season.
Yeah.
So that's not great. But also when you look at sort of like their expected threat, which is a bit hard to quantify. It is very negative for them as well. I'm just going to look at LCX now while I'm on it and just remind
Yeah,
you.
Varaždin's expected goals against, expected goals conceded, only 2.64, which is just under, actually just above Dinamo's. So Varaždin's defense has been obviously very good with Ba, Nekic, Škaričić, Boršić, and now Tepšić has came in after Nekic got injured. So we'll see if he can hold the fort.
Yeah, I think this when I said about Varaždin, they tend to be a team you almost forget about a little bit.
Yeah,
because there's always a side in every league. No matter how many sides are in it, I'm sure even in the Isles of Scilly League, where they literally have two teams playing each other 30 times, there's always going to be one of the sides where you don't see goals.
Yeah,
and that's Varaždin. Unfortunately for them, unfortunately for their fans more than anything.
Yeah.
Having to go and watch that. But I think also you would probably pick out Osijek from there, from those stats in terms of it being very positive for them on the expected stats.
Yeah, I mean, but it's only expected.
It's only expected, and it's not.
It's all a fantasy world.
It is all. So I mean, just for XG difference. So for Gorica, it's minus 1.487, minus 1.32. Šibenik, minus 0.7. So this is I think, average per game. I'm not sure. So you can sort of see who the less good sides are. The one that probably stands out again a little bit, as in this is going to rectify itself. Aristra.
Yeah.
Because again, in your first 4 games, you played Hajduk, Dinamo, and Rijeka. So things are going to get easier.
Yeah, they will, and especially when they've conceded already 11 goals and they have an XG of a 6, round up to 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, Lokomotiva can be a lot better apparently. It took me a lot by surprise when I saw them at the top.
Yeah. And I mean, that Dinamo on top is also a surprise.
They're not really creating good chances. It's Dinamo. They're clinical. They have the quality.
Yeah. And I mean, even too, so with Rijeka having being quite close to Lokomotiva, in terms of the types of chances that they create, obviously we've mentioned it tends to be from low,
from outside the box,
low XG areas. Yeah, it's like a team of Lovriches.
Yeah,
but when he was good.
What do you have against Lovrich?
Nothing. I would love to see. I want to see him back to his best.
Fair enough. So do I, especially at Gorica.
You probably don't, because he always seemed to have a little extra level against Hajduk. To be fair,
at least I had fun watching him score against me. Okay, I was like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. Good goal.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do from a free kick from 40 yards, and somehow he puts it into the back of the net. Nothing I can do about it. But yeah, that's the XG table, and let's shortly. I mean, we already talked about Dinamo and Rijeka for there. So Dinamo is playing on Wednesday, Rijeka is playing on Thursday. So hopefully we have 2 teams in Europe. Hopefully,
definitely one at least.
I mean, yeah, definitely one. Yeah.
But I think there'll be. I mean, obviously, it is going to be Champions League for Dinamo. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And yeah, we'll see what the draw brings up, the special computer draw, because obviously, as you know, if they did it via hand, it would take them about 1,000 years. So this is like literally just a Chat GPT draw. Or UEFA's version of Chat GPT.
Hey, hi Siri, can you do the draw for us?
Yeah.
But yeah, on Friday, HNL Friday is Gorica Šibenik, which again, pretty good match. Gorica hasn't won yet. Šibenik is obviously flying. Nobody can really break past them except Dinamo, but that's to be expected because it is Dinamo.
Yep.
So we'll see if Gorica can do something against Šibenik. I highly doubt it.
Yep, I highly doubt it too.
I hardly doubt it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Then on Saturday we have Slaven Istra and Hajduk Osijek. Istra should be beating Slaven, I think, especially in this current form of Slavens.
Yeah, and I mean the other game, just flip a coin.
Yeah,
really.
it's just can Livaya score 2 goals, or can, I don't know, Bukvic or Ademi do anything?
Yeah,
Matkovic probably. I mean, it's gonna be it's gonna be a game.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where if both, well, I think it's one of those that's just certain to be a draw. I think.
Yeah, I mean, very easily could be a draw. Again, just 1-1.
You can't see a team winning it.
Yeah, true. And then we have Lokomotiva Varaždin. So that's gonna be a tight encounter because it is Varaždin. But we'll see if Lokomotiva can, start putting their chances away. Do a job.
Yeah.
And for the final, we have Rijeka Dinamo, who will be probably somewhat exhausted from Europe and probably with not totally first team.
Well,
starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, obviously even though Rijeka play a day later, it probably is advantageous to them to be traveling, about 60 miles?
Nothing.
Compared to, traveling back from...
It takes more to travel to Osijek.
Yeah, exactly. So, in a way, that's probably an advantage to them if it's, sorted out in the 90.
Yeah.
Obviously, when it comes to Dinamo, I think first and foremost, by then they will know who they're playing in the Champions League group, if it's Champions League.
The draw is going to be
groups.
Isn't it going to be on Monday?
No. The Europa League and Conference League are Friday.
It's on Thursday. Okay.
So literally, they're doing the Champions League draw during games for the Conference League because
during?
Yeah.
What?
Great one, Sheffrin.
Well, okay, yeah. Oh my God, it's at 6 p.m. What?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Please don't tell me that the match starts around that time. Please don't.
1 second.
It starts at 7, so it's gonna be during the draw probably. I don't know how long it's gonna take.
Yeah, it is gonna be during the draw because
I swear to God, if they try to do the technical procedure and they're like, okay, so there's literally no rules. Anybody can play against anybody. Just get it over with. Ask ChatGPT to give you the draw and just show us the games.
Yeah, the technical procedure of the draw is I'm going to press enter, and then about 5 seconds later, you just go, shit, I pressed delete. We've literally just cleared all the pots.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the draw goes if we get a problem with the draw and it's like, oh, well, Real Madrid cannot play Dinamo Zagreb twice on the same day, so you should probably get rid of that.
Yeah. I mean, there's bound to be teething problems.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a problem and they got to redo it again.
Yeah, they couldn't really get balls in pots done correctly, reliably. So
yeah, but when was that? That was with Atletico Madrid's draw, right? Like 3 years ago. It was during COVID.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a few instances of it where they've had issues. There's one where just people couldn't get them open, as well. Things like that. We don't trust UEFA with Kinder Surprise toys. So how can we trust them with a supercomputer?
Yeah. So hopefully the AI does its job. I think it's AI. I think it's just literally probably a Python program.
Yeah.
Maybe C#, C++. We'll see.
Yeah. UEFA's on Unix.
But I just wonder how it's gonna look and how long is it gonna take. Like, please don't tell me it's gonna take like 2 hours.
Well, it will, because they've got to introduce the people who are going to press enter, and then have a little chat with them.
Sami Khedira, James Rodriguez. Come on, hit enter, please.
Yeah.
Are they gonna get like a legend of every club and just be like, hey, plus enter? Oh, these are the draws. Next.
I'm sure they'll have a budget.
Yeah. They'll have something.
Renter, retiree.
Yeah. Iker Casillas, Sami Khedira. Who else? Schweinsteiger.
There's whoever's close to Geneva at that point.
Yeah.
Really. Just go to Monaco and throw a net. See who you pick up.
See who you pick up. But yeah. Well, I think we've covered everything.
I think
don't
so.
think we missed anything. Due Strukan is a should referee. And please don't tell me he's refereeing another match this week. I hope not. For his sake and my sake.
I haven't. Let me just check. I haven't seen it come up on Law 5. So again, this is just if people don't know where to look. Law 5 is the refereeing appointments place. So it's Michael Oliver for Dinamo, but we don't have
that.
We don't have Conference League and Europa League up yet. So we're not in the HNL refs realm.
Yeah.
Because God knows they aren't getting anything better.
Oh yeah! By the way, since I am wearing the kit of Hrvatski Dragovoljac, did you see their new kit that they've released soon to be?
It's lovely.
It's very low.
They weirdly, aside from the season when they're actually in the top flight, they seem to always have very nice kits. So this is again for those who haven't seen it, it's sort of like it has the flags.
Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm gonna find the picture. I will share it.
We have listeners as well.
Yeah. Okay. You can describe it.
This is the alt. You know, when you have to put in the written description for an image on Twitter. This is This is the purpose I'm serving.
Here it is.
So we have a T-shirt in with a black background with a gold outline of Croatia, and at the back a bunch of gold flags, which I previously thought were meant to represent something, but apparently they don't actually represent anything. They're just gold designs.
They are essentially the stuff on the squares are from the Croatia's badge. How do I emblem?
Yeah,
Croatia's emblem.
Yeah. See, I thought that in the past. Maybe it's a past one that they've changed and they just had random stuff on it. But maybe that is a new thing where they've actually got proper.
Yeah, because you can see you can see the free. I forgot what it is. You can see the Strogoat.
Yes.
On it, the free lion heads, I think, for what's Dalmatia. The stripes are for Slavonia, and the checkers are obviously for Croatia.
And the big map of Croatia is obviously for Croatia as well.
Oh well,
I'm guessing.
Is it? Then no.
Maybe you just need to take out what's not there. Like, maybe the space is for Bosnia. No, not going into there. There is a big blank black outline around the top, so there is room to fit Slovenia in. It does look. Maybe that's their aim.
So
we're going to conquer Slovenia on Thursday, of course.
Of course. If Olimpija beats Rijeka, then they get Slovenia gets the whole HNL.
Yes, they do. That's how it works. It used to be in Scotland when it was the old thing was where you have St Johnstone and St Mirren playing against each other, that whoever won got the extra saint. So you just have St Johnstone and Mirren. That's basically the rules of engagement of Olimpija Rijeka.
Yeah, and for anybody who actually wants to order the kit, it will be available soon, from what Dragovoljac has said. Not yet, but soon.
Yeah, and do, because, I mean...
It's a beauty.
It's a template they've used before, but it is a banger.
Yeah, they always change it up a little bit. It's always, except for this one, which is from the season they were in the HNL, where they didn't have any kind of Croatia on the kit, but everything else, it's essentially just have the Croatia map on in the middle and just do something with it.
Yeah, it might be one I get. And what I generally wear my football kits to the gym. So I have a Serbia kit that's in my rotation. So what I might just do is on the Monday in the gym, Serbia kit, Tuesday, practically Joe Royak, and really confuse people.
Yeah. Really confused. And then you can get, what else can you get? A Bosnia kit?
I mean, they probably not even got them for sale.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true.
Just go around.
Sarajevo does.
Yeah,
Sarajevo has
Sarajevo does. I think for a Bosnia national kit, you probably just go around Vika Zarkovic's car, and they probably just sold out the boot. It's pretty much how they do the ticketing.
Yeah. Enough about Bosnia. Enough about the rest of the Balkans, because it's a Croatian football podcast.
Yes. Unless we get one of the other sides in the draw. If we get Dinamo Zvezda in the draw, or Rijeka.
I mean, if we get Dinamo Zvezda in the draw, we will not do a podcast. We will just go to war.
Well, I mean, I personally won't.
You personally won't. I will probably. I will try to escape, because I'm
personally half of Europe away, and that's a pretty good distance for me from that.
You're not even in the EU, so you're pretty safe.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, enough about that. But guys, we'll see you next week, and we'll see who Dinamo plays in the Champions League or Europa League, if by some miracle Qarabag does a madness. And if Rijeka does hopefully beat Olimpija, we'll see who they play, and hopefully Chelsea, so I can do some interviews.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
And we'll have Nations League as well, the important stuff.
Yeah, not Croatia, Scotland yet, but soon.
No, the slightly less important stuff before the really important stuff in October.
Yeah. Who cares about Croatia, Portugal, and Croatia, Poland? Nobody. Give me the Croatia, Scotland. Poland definitely doesn't care about football anymore. At least we're not Bosnia in League A. That's the only thing. Listen, they're going to Germany in 2024, just a bit later.
Yes.
Okay, we've gone onto a bit of a hatred on Bosnia. We apologize, neighbors. My neighbors.
We don't hate them. We just hate the people who run their football.
Yeah, just get it sorted out.
Because they're awful.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.